Welcome to another episode of The Hero Abandoned Me for Being Weak, so I went ahead and clapped his mother's cheeks. Okay, that's not entirely accurate, because Ceres, a former member of the hero party, Light of Hope, isn't weak. That's just the excuse his ex-best friend, Zekt, used to kick him out. See, Zekt may do a good job of being a hero, but he's a total womanizer. He's already getting it on with his party members, Maria and Lita, and when he saw that Ceres and Mel were getting close, he got with the girl to cuckoo his supposed friend. That wasn't enough, though, and he kicked Ceres out of the party under the pretense of him holding them back. None of the girls defended him, even after everything they've been through, and Ceres didn't feel like defending himself either. Without putting up a fight, Ceres graciously bid them goodbye and left. That was a real stupid decision on Zekt's end because aside from the obvious, Ceres isn't even interested in any of those girls. He used to be a middle-aged man and a father in his previous life before being reincarnated into this world. So basically, everyone his age here is practically a baby to him. And he ain't a Discord moderator, no sir. If anything, he's a mama hunter. The mortality rate here is really low, so 17-year-olds are considered old, and women in their mid-20s are no longer treated as humans. God forbid you, as a woman, turn 30 here because you're pretty much an old hag. Anyway, Ceres knows what he wants, so he went to a slave trader and asked to see their lesser value slaves since he knew that he'll find the mamas there. To his surprise, Ceres found that and more. He saw Zekt's mother and his first love, Shizuko, inside a cage. After buying her, he discovered that her husband and Zekt's father, Zektor, had sold her into slavery. After his son became a hero, Zektor spent all the money he was sent on women, gambling, and booze. And at that point, he no longer had any use for Shizuko, who he never treated well to begin with. Fortunately, Ceres is genuinely in love with Shizuko, and he treated the woman well, even if she was hesitant about the entire thing. After all, it's been drilled into her that she's worthless at her age. They proceeded to register themselves as a party in the guild, and there, Ceres learned that Shizuko was not only a former adventurer, but she was an S-ranked master healer whose abilities far outclassed everyone else's. Together, they defeated an earth and rock dragon, earned a lot of money, and made crazy, stupid love. Basically, life's real good for the two lovebirds. But now, let's have a look at the hero's party. First, they're out of money. Their papers are a damn mess. And they're dirty, stinky, very icky, no good. And that's because these toddler heads have been relying on Ceres for every damn thing. Zekt's quite puzzled to learn that they're out of cash, and Maria jokingly asks if Ceres ran away with it. While that isn't exactly true, the reason they aren't getting money is because Ceres isn't there. He used to do all the paperwork detailing their expenses and achievements. They need to file these reports to receive money from the church. Zekt and his harem didn't even know those paperwork existed. But when the guild staff says that Ceres was the one who filed them, Zekt remembers that his buddy used to ask him to sign some documents while he was busy picking at his nose. After a moment's shock, Zekt asks the staff if these documents are really that important, so the man provides them with an alternative. He pays the hero's party with the minimum payment for their monthly expenses. It's a lot less than before, but without the paperwork, that's all he can give them. Zekt makes Mel do all the paperwork since she's the sage, meaning that she's the smartest among them. At least, that's how it should be. Mel doesn't look like the happiest camper about this, but when she sees the thick stack of paperwork she has to do, the girl is distraught. She looks like she's gonna have a damn heart attack any minute now. If she's gonna do the paperwork, then she demands to be relieved of any other chores. Zekt reasons out that Ceres could do both the paperwork and their chores, and you're totally right, bud. Too bad you kicked him out and left him to clean your mama's pink curtains instead. Anyway, Mel keeps screaming the place down, so eventually Zekt yields. She can just focus on the paperwork now. Later that day, it's chow time for the group and damn, are they miserable. Lita's cooking is straight crap, but it's not like they can have Maria do it. Everything she cooks turns into charcoal, after all. Cue the longing. The girls all fantasize about eating Ceres's dishes, from his amu rice, to his hamburgers, to his Napolitana pasta. Yummy, yummy. Zekt thinks about how they can always eat Ceres's food in the city, but the thing is, they're only available in high-end restaurants. Very sad. Shouldn't have kicked him out then. Now, he's too busy serving hot dogs, popsicles, and twig and berries to Shizuko. That said, Zekt ain't built to live like this, so he tells his girls that they're eating out tomorrow. But after a few days, the hero group's now looking real gross. Light of Hope, more like lonesome soap. Even Zekt knows this. They keep bleeding money while getting dirtier by the day. They can't go on like this. He then notices that Lita's hair seems alright while Mel and Maria's are a mess. She explains that it's all good because she ties it back, while Mel and Maria used to have their hairs cleaned by Ceres's water magic. And since they can't do that on their own, it makes sense that their hairs are a damn mess. At this point, Zek's getting real damn tired of hearing Ceres's name. What's next? They're indigested because Ceres used to chew their food for them. Shouldn't have kicked him out then. Now, Ceres is too busy washing your mamas. Okay, I think I've made my point here. Zek then suggests having the church take care of them. But their saintess, Maria, vehemently opposes this. The church lives a real frugal lifestyle and they rarely eat meat, so they'll have to take care of themselves. Still, they're better off as is. Damn, that's the most emotion Maria's shown. Zek just tells her to take a chill pill and scraps the idea. Mel proposes going to the guild to earn money if they need it that much, but that's a no-go, too. The country and the church already give them money, so they're not supposed to hunt monsters. At this point, the hero begins to grow pensive. If Ceres could handle all the formalities, chores, and odd jobs, then why can't they? He curses inwardly as all he can do is wonder how things ended up like this. While the light of hope is being a light of mess, Ceres is living it up with his lovely Shizuko. He's such a wonderful husband that she's in a good mood just having him by her side. Just that morning alone, he made sure that her hair's in order with his special morning shampoo. It's a simple gesture, but she's sure that there's not a single husband in that world that would do such a thing for his wife. And yet, her idiot son and his partners went ahead and threw him out. They didn't even have the decency to thank him. Oh, she's sure that if Haruka saw this, she'd slap her daughter, Lita, for being such an ingrate. And another thing is, they take turns making meals. Again, it's a simple gesture, but she recalls how even if she were burning with fever, Zekt and Zektor would just pester her for dinner. As for Ceres, he'd put on his $1 million smile and tell her that he wants to see her happy face, so she should let him cook for her. The two have a lot of fun day in and day out, and when the sun's down, they make a whole lot of good, sweet lovin'. To cap it all off, Shizuko thinks about how if Zekt and Ceres were in peril and she could only save one of them, well, she'd save Ceres in a heartbeat. Why? It's because she's his woman. Damn, this is an entirely different category of cuckooing. We aren't done simping over Ceres, though. This time, Shizuko fawns over how strong he is, so he explains that he had to make money on his own, so he's used to hunting. This confuses her. Why does he need to make money if he's in the hero's party? Well, since he's a magic warrior, he doesn't get aid. He had to pay his own expenses. So to summarize, while he was helping the Scrubs of Hope defeat the Demon King, he had a bunch of side hustles to keep himself afloat. And to top it all off, they gave them chores too. Is that right? Ceres maintains his smile. He doesn't seem to mind and just tells Shizuko that he didn't have a choice. After realizing how unfortunate Ceres' situation's been all this time, the woman tears up and draws him to her chest, his nose nestled nicely betwixt her valleys. She comforts Ceres, saying that it must have been really tough. Shizuko asks the flustered boy what the strongest monster he's ever hunted is, and he answers, dragons. Wyverns, earth, rock, and water dragons. Around that ballpark. This gets Shizuko thinking. If he can hunt monsters that strong, then is he really sure that he's weaker than Zekt? Ceres isn't really sure. He's never had the chance to really evaluate how well the others hold up to him. If more than 4 party members were to engage in a hunt, it'd cause some issues. Because of that, Ceres had to remain in the sidelines and take care of the small fry. So while his team members got all the glory, Ceres kept doing such thankless jobs despite being just as strong as, if not, stronger than Zekt, Mel, Mary, and Lita. Shizuko finds this very unfortunate. After all, he's stronger than what an S ranker should be. Soon enough, she stops suffocating Ceres with her ooga boobas, and they head to the guild to submit their report. The guild receptionist, Sally, gives them their reward and notices that she did an oopsie. She deeply apologizes for Ceres is still registered as a member of the hero party. Instead of making a new registry, she just made a separate force for the hero's party. Luckily, they treat each group independently, so he and Shizuko won't be affected at all. So the setup goes like this. The hero party, Light of Hope, will have Zekt, Mel, Mary, and Lita with Zekt as the leader, while the Light of Hope's separate force will have Ceres and Shizuko with Ceres as the leader. They'll be able to use the hero party's privileges, while Shizuko, at best, can say that she's Ceres' subordinate, regardless of her relationship or lack thereof with the main group. And Ceres has been granted the title of Dragon Slayer. Speaking of, Shizuko asks if any of the Light of Hope members has hunted a dragon, so Sally explains that Zekt and Lita hunted demi-dragons and wyverns. But since those were just demis, they didn't get the Dragon Slayer title. In fact, in the last couple years, only Ceres has been able to nab the title. Hearing all this pleases Shizuko, and she expresses how excited she is that Zecht has only dealt with wyverns. Sally's quick to call her out on her faux pas, and urges her not to address the great hero so casually. And with that, Sally receives yet another Shizuko bomb. The lady frantically apologizes to Shizuko since she didn't know that she's the hero's mama. Mama doesn't mind though because she's just Ceres' lover now. But according to the registry, she's just meant to be his slave, which Shizuko's completely fine with. Dreamily, she clarifies that she's his love slave, making Sally's jaw drop. She then asks Ceres for an explanation, and after hearing his story, Sally is livid. She curses old man Zector, declaring that he's the enemy of all women. But now that she understands what's going on, she asks if the two would like a guild marriage. It's basically like a family registry in our world, so it's also a nice way of making things official. Of course, Ceres doesn't even think twice about it, but Shizuko's rather bashful. She brings up her usual "but I'm too old for you" concern, but her lover only smiles at her.
I won't regret it. Besides, I fell for you first.
Finally, Shizuko yields, and the two get married in the guild. She's now his legal wife. And to cap the celebration off, Ceres invites everyone in the guild to drink. It's on him. It's a joyous day for the newlyweds, and Shizuko just couldn't be happier. And that's why, when she returns to the village, she intends on keeping the promise she made with everyone. All for one and one for all. She can't be the only one happy among her three friends. After all, they swore to share their sorrows and blisses. Besides, she's certain that Ceres won't have any trouble with having 4 wives. Whoa, ma'am. Whoever coined the term sharing is caring probably wasn't thinking about husbands, too. The newlyweds soon arrive at Jamuno village. Ceres is quite fond of that place. After all, it's his hometown. When his parents died, the people there made sure to take care of him. He owed them a lot. Shizuko, however, doesn't quite share his enthusiasm. If anything, she looks rather somber, hesitant. Can't blame her, though. They meet up with the village chief, who's surprised to see that Shizuko's alive. No way did that funky old man Zector admit to selling her. He just told everyone that she's dead. Hearing this saddens Shizuko, but she simply proceeds to give the chief a rundown of what happened. Like Sally, the chief is flat out disgusted by Zector. If he were still there, Mr. Chief would have chopped off his dominant arm and banished him from the village. Wait, Zector's not there. Nope, the fool got arrested for tax evasion, and the feudal lord took him away. Lololol, Elmao, Raffle, Yahaha. Rare feudal lord W. The woman is silent at first, but the woman's body racks with maniacal laughter.
So that's how things ended.
Shizuko says in shrill delight, which perturbs the chief. She soon relents and apologizes for losing composure. She was looking forward to getting at least a hit in, but it looks like Zector's damned to an even hotter hell. And that's not even an exaggeration. Even after doing time as a slave in the mines, he'll have no place in the village anymore. In short, it's over for him. While Ceres can't forgive him for what he did to Shizuko, he still has a few good memories with the man, his best friend's father. So at the end of the day, it's better to him that things ended like this than in revenge. In any case, it's time for Ceres and Shizuko to settle down and have their official honeymoon. They spend the rest of the day and night getting physical before waking up past noon the next day. As always, Shizuko's a happy camper after getting her garden watered really well, especially by her very young hubby. Since they woke up late, everyone's already working at that hour, so the mama hunter suggests visiting Kazuma, the restaurant ran by Haruka's husband who bears the same name. Kazuma's the only set meal restaurant in the village, and Ceres has some good memories with the owner. Old man Kazuma helped him recreate dishes from his previous world and treated him no different from family. So even though they aren't blood related, he still considers Kazuma his brother and Haruka his sister. And so, the two are off to the restaurant, where they find the lovely Haruka there. She greets them warmly and has already heard of what happened from the village chief. Shizuko assures her that she's alright since Ceres saved her, and Haruka uses the opportunity to give the boy's shoulder a mighty hard swing. You could have congratulated him without the nasty hook, ma'am. But she's always been playfully hitting Ceres, so this isn't anything new to him. Shizuko comments on how the two look like siblings, and it makes her rather jealous. She says this with a smile, of course, so no need to worry about her going yandere mode, folks. Amused, Haruka notes that she really ended up marrying him, so Shizuko uses the opportunity to spread the good word of Ceres's Ceres's great personality. She goes on about how even though she's already old, Ceres still likes her the way she is, but that doesn't come as a surprise to Haruka. After all, Ceres has always been in love with her. A serious expression crosses Shizuko's face, but just as she's beginning to say something, Kazuma comes up from behind them and is pleasantly surprised to see the pair. Ceres is equally happy to see his big brother, and he even thinks about how cool he is. Kazuma has long carved a spot in the boy's heart, especially after his parents died. Kazuma told him to see him both as an elder brother and father. He even held him and cried with him. Needless to say, Ceres has a great deal of love and respect for Kazuma. There was a time when he was in love with the beautiful and stylish Haruka, but he buried those feelings deep within him. He will never get in the way of his big brother's happiness. Besides, he doesn't want them to lose their bonds as siblings. It's bros before hoes here, folks. And Zek doesn't count because he's a whole son. Also, from the outside looking in, he thinks that Kazuma and Haruka are a match made in heaven. While Ceres and Shizuko are eating together, the woman pops a question that makes him choke on his food. He likes Haruka, doesn't he? The boy quickly regains his composure and gives her the standard in a sisterly way answer, but he knows that's not what Shizuko meant. She tells him that much, and she even outright says that he doesn't like her as a sister. He likes her romantically. This flusters Ceres, but after a brief pause, he admits that Haruka was his second love after Shizuko. She doesn't mind his admission at all, though, and she even points out that it wouldn't look weird for the both of them to be together. Ceres agrees, saying that Haruka looks pretty young. Cue the boss music, and the boss is Shizuko. A terrifying aura shrouds the woman, and with her usual giggle, she stiffly answers that Haruka does look young, indeed. Ceres is quick to interject that Shizuko's young looking, too, which appeases the woman. Of course, Ceres doesn't think that them looking young is the only reason they're attractive, but no need to dwell on that. After that close call, Shizuko clarifies that she doesn't mind how Ceres feels. If he's really into Haruka, then why not make a move on her? This makes the boy grow pensive. Shizuko and Haruka are completely different cases. With Mama number 1, he's seen how badly her trash husband treated her. He always thought that he could make Shizuko happy. But with Mama number 2, it's different. First off, she's his precious brother's wife. Second, Kazuma's a good person, so he doesn't feel like NTRing him. You heard it here, folks. If you don't want to experience NTRs, don't be an arse. With a smile, Ceres admits that though Haruka's a wonderful person, he gave up since she has Kazuma already. He'd rather they just stay as siblings. Shizuko disagrees, though. She points out that things have probably changed since then, and besides, there's a way for him to intrude without being a homewrecker. With a gentle grasp on his shoulder, Shizuko leans in to whisper that he just needs to give Haruka a night visit. She'll feel a little lonely that night, but she'll survive. Now, what's a night visit? If you're thinking that it involves a lot of Humpty Dumptying, you're on the same boat as Ceres, and you'd be correct. Night visits are a long-standing tradition in the Jamuno village. It has its rules, too, so as long as Ceres follows them, he'll be Gucci. The boy is taken aback that a thing like that even has rules, but it does. And as long as he follows them, he'll be alright, and big brother Kazuma won't mind. At least, that's what Shizuko tells him. Okay, now for an intricate history lesson that's completely taken from Wikipedia. The concept that Shizuko's talking about is night crawling. No, not that night crawling. In Japanese, it's called yabai. It's an ancient Japanese custom that used to be practiced by unmarried men and women way back in the day. Basically, it involves a guy silently entering a gal's house. He'd inform her that he wants to introduce his salami to her sashimi, and if she consents, then they'll get to cooking. The guy would leave by morning, and even if the girl's family knows about it, they'll pretend like they don't. In some areas, married women could receive these night visits, too, while in others, only married and widowed women could be visited. Again, this is all from Wikipedia, so make of that what you will. Anyway, it's time for the rules, courtesy of Ms. Wifey. Rule 1. The woman must be over 24 or widowed. Rule 2. You must sit on your knees on her right side until she wakes up. Rule 3. Don't speak until she does. Rule 4. Don't shame a woman that accepted you. Sad that this has to be a rule, but you know how some dudes be. Rule 5. Don't curse a woman that rejects you. Just leave. Rule 6. If she rejects you, just give up. If Ceres breaks any one of these rules, he'll get in trouble, so he has to be careful. The boy still has his reservations, but Shizuko assures him that this night visit should make Haruka happy. At least, that's what she's hoping for. Frankly, he isn't fully convinced. He doesn't know if what he's going to do is right or wrong, but if there's an opportunity to have both his beloved Shizuko and his big sis Haruka with him, then he'll seize it. And so, Ceres does away with his doubts and pays Haruka a night visit. He follows the instruction and sits at her right. The boy's rather surprised that Kazuma's sleeping in another room. But hey, at least he can eye her assets to his heart's content without worrying about a man staring back at him. Just as Ceres' legs are going numb, Haruka finally wakes up. She's confused at first, but when she realizes that he's on her right side, Haruka grows flustered. Does he know what he's doing? With an awkward smile, Ceres tries to explain himself, but the moment he trails off, Haruka slaps the living daylights out of him. Is he trying to make fun of her? Ceres can't even explain himself as Haruka proceeds to give him some chin-to-chin action. He pleads with her to calm down, and she firmly tells him that she is calm. Ceres tries to tell her that he likes her, but she proceeds to slap him before he could even finish that thought. Haruka grabs him and yells the house down, demanding that he quit the tasteless joke. But then, her voice finally falls into a whisper, and with tears in her eyes, she adds that even she gets hurt by those. Seeing this side of her takes Ceres aback. But before he could explain, the door opens. It's Kazuma. With a frozen smile plastered on Ceres' face, he could only process a single thought. Yup, I'm dead. Luckily, Kazuma's willing to hear him out, so he sits him down for a serious talk while making it clear that depending on his answer, they may stop being siblings. Ceres thinks about it for a moment, but it doesn't take long before the truth comes out. He likes Big Sis, but he had given up on that because she had Kazuma. He carried a look of resignation as he admitted it, while Kazuma stares at him intently. A flustered Haruka tries to speak up, but her husband promptly quiets her down as this is an important conversation among men. Yes, of course. The men involved in this are more important than the woman who's potentially about to get retarded. Yup. Anyway, Kazuma is all fired up. With unparalleled vigor, Kazuma asks if he just couldn't give up on the woman he loves before urging Ceres to be frank with him. He wants to hear his honest feelings. Ceres clearly isn't comfortable with this entire thing, but goes on to say that since Haruka seemed happy with him, he gave up on her. He was jealous of how perfect of a match they were. Kazuma understands this. In fact, he also wants Ceres and his wife to be happy. Still, there's no getting around the fact that Haruka's the same age as Ceres' mother, Maruna. Extremely flustered Haruka is dumbfounded by the question, but nobody pays attention to her. The conversation continues on, with Ceres solemnly declaring that age has nothing to do with love. He doesn't want to give up on her either. If she'll accept his love, then he will offer his love to her. Though Ceres has the cheek to admit all this, he still has some shame and doesn't want to upset Kazuma by continuing. But the man is even more fired up now. He demands that Ceres forgets about him. He just wants to hear how Ceres feels about Haruka.
I love her!
Cue Haruka's sheer and utter surprise. But Kazuma seems unfazed and keeps talking with the same intensity as earlier. He stresses that she'll be an old hag soon enough, so he wants to know if he can keep that kind of energy for her well into Haruka's granny dom. Can he really treasure her for the rest of his life? Geez, bro. Harsh. But of course, that's exactly what Ceres is into, so he doesn't even miss a beat before answering that he can. Finally, Kazuma asks Haruka what she thinks. The woman's head is swirling with confusion, embarrassment, and hesitation, but she eventually manages to ask why her. She even changed his diapers when he was a baby. Kazuma speaks again, and he basically asks if Ceres is sure that he'll love an old funky musty granny hag like Haruka, no take-backsies, and if he'll keep staying by her side and loving her.
Despite all that,
Ceres answers, a firm and resolute look on his face.
I will still love her.
Haruka is speechless at this point. Her face is all red. She's being confessed to by a guy whose diapers she changed back in the day, and her husband looks satisfied as hell. But if she thought that she can finally catch a break, she's dead wrong. In fact, Haruka can say goodbye to a good night's sleep as Kazuma pulls her up and asks Ceres a very important question.
Alright, then Ceres, will you screw Haruka in front of me?
What, and where's my notes? What? Haruka can't believe what she's hearing. Girl, I can't either. You married a cuckoo. Kazuma pushes his wife in his little brother's direction, making her fall onto his body. He then declares that if he truly loves her as he says he does, then Kazuma wants Ceres to show him. Right here, right now, right in front of him. Boy, Scandalized doesn't even begin to describe how Haruka feels. Before she can get a proper word in, a very determined Ceres, who has a sparkle in his eyes, by the way, agrees.
Let me see it, brother.
Kazuma shouts, taking Ceres' hand in his for an epic handshake.
You got it, big bro.
Yeah, I don't got an outro for you all. These people are wildin'. Guess we can end this video with some words of wisdom. Don't do bad unto others if you don't want others to do your mothers.
Subscribe to watch more videos like this, turn on notifications and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.